What you're about to witness will shake you, it will anger you, and it will leave you in shock. It is disturbing, it is raw, it is real. This is not just about deception or a scandal. This is about spiritual betrayal, blackmail, and a cover-up at the highest levels of our religious dawah scene. And it's time you heard the full truth. It is the catalyst which forced us to make the difficult decision of going public. But before I begin, I want to quickly address a recurring question throughout our presentation of this case. Why have you not released everything all at once? There is a simple answer, but it is rooted in exercising wisdom and employing strategy while handling this rather complex case. When we first interacted with Hijab, it became abundantly apparent that he was using deception and intimidation tactics paired with veiled threats. He came prepared to play a dirty game, one that would entail coercion, trickery, lies, and doing everything in his capacity to suppress the truth and save his reputation. Hence why we made the decision to slowly release the various elements of this case. And what happened from the beginning was exactly what we had expected, but on a level we could never have fathomed. With each video that was released, whether it was a proxy AI video on behalf of Mohammed Hijab or the vindictive and vicious attacks from Adi Dawah, they began unraveling their real nature and deceitful claims. The recurring theme of each video became crystal clear, and it is something I had forewarned in my very first video, that they would resort to character assassination in an attempt to deflect from the allegations on deck. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala warns us about the Day of Judgment in Surah An-Nur.
يوم تشهد عليهم ألسنتهم وأيديهم وأرجلهم بما كانوا يعملون يومئذ يوفيهم الله دينهم الحق ويعلمون أن الله هو الحق المبين.
What has transpired is not a deceit that has been concealed until the Day of Judgment, but rather it is one where their evilness and transgressions have continued to unravel before our very own eyes. Back in August of 2024, we were contacted by his sister, one we have referred to with the alias of Sister Aisha. She came forward with a painful and deeply complex account of a marriage with Mohammed Hijab, one that involved deception, full secrecy, and left her feeling used by being tricked into a hotel marriage. Over the next 8 months, we did not rush to conclusions. We questioned her story multiple times from every angle. We scrutinized the evidence, text messages, narrative recordings, and alleged witness statements. We spoke with a Shaykh who confirmed his knowledge of the marriage. Allow me to repeat that. We spoke with a Shaykh who confirmed his knowledge of the marriage. We tried to reach out to the Wakil. He gave us ambiguity. And above all, we contacted Mohammed Hijab directly. What we received wasn't just denial, it was hostility, intimidation, and veiled threats. Rather than resolve matters privately, he dared us to go public. We refused to expose him, but what you're going to hear today is why we were left with no other option. Instead of denying the marriage outright, Hijab and his ally Adi Dawah launched a series of smear campaigns. They discredited Aisha, they deliberately misconstrued Dr. Abu Aya, and they viciously slandered me. They tried to frame us as conspirators fueled by ulterior motives. They demanded a level of evidence that no secret marriage could ever easily produce, especially when it was conducted with deliberate and meticulous concealment. They resorted to presenting a photoshopped and fabricated screenshot as evidence in an effort to disqualify the credibility of Sister Aisha. And then, just this past week, they released an AI deepfake voice recording pretending to be Sister Aisha and a supposed confession she made to some random AI mufti who apparently wanted to remain anonymous. This was debunked and proven to be maliciously fabricated. And above all, they continue to weaponize a respected Shaykh against us, against all of us, Mohammed Torana. Who is Mohammed Torana? He is the Shaykh who had directly confirmed that the marriage between Mohammed Hijab and Sister Aisha did in fact occur. Mohammed Hijab, along with Adi Dawah, presented voice notes from Shaykh Torana claiming he was deceived by Sister Aisha. The goal? To undermine her credibility. But what they didn't expect, with all of their cunning tactics, their precision calculations, their witness suppressions, and their wicked cover-up attempts, was that the truth behind that same Shaykh would eventually be unveiled. I want you to stop what you are doing. Stop multitasking. Take a break from eating dinner. Silence your phones. This is the part I need your undivided attention. This is the part you could never have imagined you would hear. First, I want you to hear the voice notes of Sheikh Mohammed Tarana, played by both Mohammed Hijab and Adi Dawa.
This individual took her fabricated narrative to Mr. Mohammed Tarana, widely known as Sheikh Mohammed of Speaker's Corner, repeating the very same story she had already peddled to certain journalists. However, upon closer examination of her baseless claims, and after being presented with the actual text messages highlighted in this video, Mr. Tarani came to a sobering realization. He had been deceived. Let us now listen to his own words and witness the moment this deception is laid bare.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Brother Mohammed Hijab. I ask Allah Azza wa Jal that you are well. I'm contacting you regarding the case of Sister. I just wanted to mention to you, Akhi, that I was dragged into this situation and I have nothing to do with this matter. As they say, I have no dog in the race in this matter at all. Also, in the same time, I just wanted to acknowledge that I was kind of misled. I should have paid attention to all the details before dealing with it. But anyway, at the end of the day, it is a mistake which I wanted to apologize. My sincere apologies to you, Akhifullah, about it. But anyway, inshallah ta'ala, I will be always, inshallah ta'ala, your brother. And if you need any help or support or anything, inshallah ta'ala, just let me know, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
The main point Sheikh Tarana points out is that he was, quote, kind of misled. But what does that mean? And how is that from this statement, they conclude that Sister Aisha fabricated this entire story? The second thing to take note of is that the Shaykh apologizes for not paying attention to the details, yet he does not provide any specificity and is vague with his apology. If you're not taking notes, please pause and do so. Take note of this apology. Now let's hear the voice note that Sheikh Tarana sent to Adi Dawa.
Tarana, Mohammed Tarana, he's got an audio recording we're going to play for you.
Now, about this case, Akhi, when Sister reached out to me and she told me about the marriage between her and Mohammed Hijab, I believed her. Later, Muhammad denied this marriage. Now, on my side, I tried to speak to Sister. I tried to advise her. Also, I tried to make her feel that she's hurt and to calm her emotions down. But none of my efforts made any difference to her. And at the end of the day, Allah Azza wa Jal is the one who judges between all our affairs, and Allah Azza wa Jal is the one who is just and fair, Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. So I will leave this matter to Allah, Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Also, my brother, I don't want to get involved in this matter any further. So please, my brother, don't contact me for this matter anymore. Jazakallah khair.
Now in this voice note, the only key point he makes is that he believed the sister and then Mohammed Hijab later denied it. There is no conclusion or definitive opinion on the matter. So why is it that both Mohammed Hijab, hiding behind his AI avatar, and Adi Dawa repeatedly use Sheikh Tarana in every video to somehow justify that Sister Aisha was not telling the truth and fabricated the story?
They also falsely claimed that Mohammed Tarana was coerced into silence. But when Tarana learned the truth, he apologized to Hijab.
First off, we never made a specific claim that Mohammed Tarana was coerced into silence.
So what now? Was Tarana wrong before, or is he lying now? Either way, his input is void. He saw nothing. He knows nothing. Are we supposed to believe he was suddenly intimidated into changing his stance?
In your words, he saw nothing, he knows nothing. You proposed a question by asking, are we supposed to believe that Sheikh Tarana was suddenly intimidated into changing his stance? Yes, I know. I can already hear the ridiculing and mockery from both Mohammed Hijab and Adi Dawa.
Present a single piece of concrete evidence, just one.
What you are about to witness is something unprecedented. This is no longer just a scandal. This is now a criminal case.
Unfortunately, this brother Mohammed Hijab He started now blackmailing me. You sent me that blackmail. Initially, he was saying, I will not do nothing. If you didn't stand against me, I will not do nothing against them. After the patient, I have run out of patience. And I will be taking necessary steps by midnight tonight, all within bounds of Shari'ah and law. However, you have one final chance to set things up. By the midnight, you must do the following. Look at what he said. Send me a WhatsApp voice message acknowledging that you misrepresented the situation after hearing only one side, specifically the fabrication of evidence and testimonial or testimonies, and apologize for the harm caused. By then, the next point is inform the reporters the truth, retract your statement, and provide me with a screenshot as a proof. If you fail to do both, I will proceed accordingly without further warning in full compliance with Shari'ah and law. Phase 1 of the consequence will be set into motion immediately after the deadline.
What you just heard was not a script from a recent mafia film. This was the ultimatum given to Sheikh Mohammed Taurana, not from an enemy of Islam, but from Mohammed Hijab himself, an enemy from within. A man once his student, a man he once defended, and now his blackmailer. Before we play the following, let's make one thing clear. This is no longer just about the deception within a secret marriage. This is about religious manipulation. This is about criminal engagement. This is about the destruction of a scholar's life and reputation, all to bury the truth and to save his reputation. In my conversations with Sheikh Taurana, I gave him my word that I would do my utmost to defend him and to defend the truth. He responded, thanking me if I could defend him.
You see that you defend me, but Jazakallah khairan, may Allah reward and pursue. Otherwise, I will leave my defense to Allah. That's how I always do, and I will continue, inshallah.
Now, hear what they never wanted you to hear, the truth.
Yes. He did apologize. And the screenshot with apology. He apologized directly to her, and he sent me the screenshot and said, forgive me, and and I have done, if I wronged you in any way or form, let's move on. I think he was a bit arrogant, and I said, you're my brother first, and you're my student. Secondly, you used to come to my class. You don't talk to me like that, and I'm here just to see. I'm not here to expose you. Initially, she asked for apologies. Mm-hmm. We made him to make apologies to her. So what then? She said, no, we need to warn the other women. We made the video. I'm doing this to protect the da'wah, and I made Ali da'wah to speak about this matter. When the marriage took place and divorce, and even literally they didn't stay for something, only for 1 month or something. And things didn't work between them. Even though, by the way, they sent her money as well. The witnesses, they said one of them, he sent her money because there is marriage took place. And we cannot say that when he divorced her, that the divorce didn't take place because it is done properly. He divorced her according to what they have done. And as well, he gave her mahar, which is the dowry out of that.
These are not vague impressions. These are clear affirmations of a nikah, mahr, and a post-divorce apology. Yet they were concealed and later weaponized by hijab against the sister. At first, Sheikh Taurana tried to resolve things quietly. He sought dignity for all involved, protecting the sister's rights while shielding the dawah from scandal. But what he didn't realize was that stepping in to help would eventually cost him everything.
And I can't go to the Islamic Council to discuss my case because no one wants to testify that the marriage happened already. So therefore, that's something I can't do. You don't want to give me the name of the witnesses.
Yeah, they didn't approve it. They didn't allow it. Now, just they didn't give me the names. I had to dig into the thing, and it came out of conversation with someone, and that's how I came across to the person. And then he said to me, he doesn't want to be involved in anything in this matter. He doesn't want to be known that he has done something wrong, as you know. So people didn't want to be known that they have done something wrong, meaning to be in a process of a nikah, which is in this way, it's wrong. He accepts that this is wrong. But because of the respect that he has to me, and as an amana, he mentioned that yes, he attended, he was there. The other thing as well, let her go to the Shari'ah Council, and I don't mind to testify with what I know. To the best of my ability, I will comply with this if it comes to the things that protect your rights. But if there is something which is your haq, if you have to get it, through a Sharia council or something like that, if you wanted my testimony, I don't mind to testify to what I know. There's not mandatory upon me to do that. But I will do it for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jalla, and as well as a testimony, as a shahada. I will testify for this.
Subhanallah. Shaykh Torana relays the conversation he had with one of the witnesses, that they did not want to be associated with this, knowing that the nikah was not done properly. Even when Shaykh Torana was willing to testify for the truth, others around him chose silence. Witnesses refused to come forward. Shame and fear took precedence over justice.
Unfortunately, this brother Mohammed Hijab, he started out blackmailing me, and I stood on her side. He actually knew that I was the reason for the sister to speak to Ali and to record and all of these things.
Yes, Adi Dawa was aware, and yet he still published videos discrediting the sister, presenting the Shaykh's coerced audio as if it were sincere.
I know he has that kind of, that's why I kind of abstained from being around him.
Subhanallah. Shaykh Torana states that he has knowledge of Mohammed Hijab blackmailing others. This is not a one-time occurrence. I had informed Shaykh Torana about the oath that Mohammed Hijab took in our conversation, where he swore by Allah, denying it all. Upon being in shock, he approached Hijab regarding this false oath.
And I said to him, I'm making an oath. Allah, this is a big thing. It's a massive thing. I don't know how you can justify to make an oath by Allah. So he deleted the messages quickly. He admitted that he made an oath, and after that he deleted the messages. And then after that, wanted to put the whole blame on me, because that's how it is. He wanted this to say that a scapegoat or something like that. Allah. That's what he's planning. And later on, he started, saying things to the brothers. So that brother Ali Dawah, he's gonna expose things about me.
I want you to pause for a moment. This is a conversation with Shaykh Torana back in February. He clearly states that Adi Dawa was told by Mohammed Hijab that he was going to expose things about the Shaykh.
Brother Ali Dawah, he's gonna expose things about me.
After you're done watching this video, I want you to go back and watch Adi Dawa's response videos. I want you to pay close attention to his performative sincerity while he pretends that both him and Shaykh Torana were duped by Sister Aisha. What a wicked man. Adi didn't just know about it. Adi knowingly deceived the world. He parroted Hijab's lies. He tried to cover for his partner in crime.
Brother Ali Dawah, he's gonna expose things about me.
He helped Hijab build the illusion that Shaykh Torana was retracting his support of Sister Aisha, while knowing full well it was a result of pressure, threats, and blackmail. Shame on you, Adi Dawa. May you always be known as a master of deception and a wicked liar.
But him to use these things to blackmail me, the worst thing someone could do to someone who had taught him in the past. Someone helped him, genuinely helped him, even throughout his marriage. Even his second marriage. And then he said to me, by deadline, by tonight, I have to send a voice apologies or something like that, that I misrepresented him or something, because he wanted to use this to say, okay, he is the one who's wronging me, it's not someone else. So that's how it is.
Subhanallah. So he wants to use this as proof, essentially, that, Ya Allah.
The whole thing is a lie. At the end of the day, I rely on Allah to making dua against him at the end of the day, because he oppressed me. So now, what he's done after all of this, what he is now, he's now blackmailing me, and I didn't respond to him at all when I left him. And I leave this matter to Allah Azza wa Jalla. You are in a problem. You have done mischief on earth. You have done all these wrong things. You have done, you made an oath by Allah Azza wa Jalla, and in the wrong way. It's a testimony against the truth. And yet, you expect the other people to do that the same. If I showed you that, the message is so disgusting. For example, he sent me earlier messages, and he was saying, oh, I know things about you. Even he's blackmailing me. Even the message I sent him, telling him, Akhi, fear Allah, repent to Allah, these things. Yeah.
This wasn't merely a threat. This was a spiritual mafia boss threatening his elder, his former teacher. This is where the mask begins to fall. Instead of repentance, Mohammed Hijab launched a campaign of threats, giving false religious oaths, deleting evidence, and preparing a narrative to scapegoat the very man who once taught him.
Wallahi, the situation is worse than worse. It's escalating, as you know. It's basically now, wallahi, things escalated. Basically, he's using me as a scapegoat for the whole thing. Basically, that's the whole thing. He's now on my case, you could say. And he went to the brothers from my era, and he's now tarnishing my name, pitting things, I understand now. It's basically, going through a difficult time. And today, wallahi, because of the stress, subhanAllah, I don't want to get into these things. I was so stressed to the extent, I was vomiting all day, wallahi, He is now tarnishing my name, he's now bringing things, and, Allah understand. And now, I don't know if I'm capable to take this matter anymore, to that extent. And he, as I mentioned to you, in his way in dealing with things that he has against anyone that he deals with, he has, evidences and things like that against everyone. He has already attacked me. He has already started, as you know. He has already went today to support the head of our era. And because we worked together, today in the morning I went to the hospital. I was discharged in the afternoon. So I was, my health went down and things went in a bad way. Until now I'm not, I don't know, I didn't eat for the last 3 days actually. For the last 2 days, no food, and my health declined. I understand. It wasn't the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ that when he said, Allah is refusion you from the Rijal, from the pot of the men. SubhanAllah, he kind of went around and tarnished my name, and people came to me, so. And he was planning to escalate things to all the centers, all the people that I'm working with. I'm tired, I can't take it anymore. I went to the hospital today, my wife couldn't drive, my wife took me to the hospital. And I was sick, all night I was, can you imagine, and I'm vomiting and there's nothing. Like this, I couldn't, something happens because of the... when you're overstressed, sometimes, alhamdulillah, I was doing my car, my Quran, but things is too much even to think. Can you imagine, Allah, I generally, whenever I read the Quran, I'm always, have be more emotionally attached. Yesterday, I couldn't, to that extent. And I read you the message that he sent me, that he said damage, and he was preparing stages of damaging to me. Was preparing to go to the centers, to go to the places I'm teaching, punching my name totally.
This wasn't just a series of threats. It became a physical, spiritual, and psychological assault. A respected scholar vomiting from stress, hospitalized, unable to eat for doing the right thing. A man who has given his life to dawah, now suffering breakdowns, health collapse, and public slander. This is the cost of crossing a powerful man who refuses accountability.
Wallahi, I will tell you something, No. Maybe I know the brother for years, I know him for years, and he was my student at some point, etc. And I met you, I know you for only the last maybe couple of weeks, correct? But for me, I have a lot of respect to you compared to him. I honor you, my brother, and I believe you are sincere.
As I said, Shaykh, I don't want you to get involved. SubhanAllah, I just pray that, like you mentioned before, if this does go to a Shari'ah council and they ask for you, inshallah, I hope you can just cooperate with them and just stay out of it, right? Like, you're doing your job in the sight of Allah, and that's it.
And even in Shari'ah council, he might use this one to you would say, to discredit my testimony, basically, as well. But that's how it is. I know that, and that's part of it.
So why would someone, a public figure who has influence over millions of people, why would he succumb to such malicious and criminal behavior? Well, this wasn't his first secret marriage. This was, at the very least, his second.
He had a mental breakdown when his wife in the past, when she discovered him being married again. She took the kids away from him for nearly a year.
When his wife found out from the previous secret second wife, she left him for nearly a year. You would think he didn't learn his lesson, but in fact, he learned a very tactful one. To ensure that he would do everything in his ability to cover all his tracks, to use a burner phone to conduct the nikah without names or faces, to ensure there was no physical contract, and to ensure he had full control over all those that did remotely witness it. All while spending years collecting compromising data that he could later use against his next victim, in the case she ever decided to speak up.
And actually, it was my mistake when I sent him a voice note of advice, advising him to say, you can't make an oath by Allah Azza wa Jal, and you make an oath by Allah with these things. That's the advice. And then he raised the war against me just after I said to him, ittaqillah. As Allah said, ittaqillah, akhadatul izzatu wal ithm. If he was called to have taqwa and Allah fear Allah, then his pride and arrogance to transgress and to do sins.
In the end, Shaykh Torana's only mistake, in his words, was advising Hijab to fear Allah. For that, he was blackmailed, slandered, and betrayed by someone he once called his student. But the truth remains, he fought and struggled to maintain integrity over protection, until he began to collapse and feared for his health and his livelihood. For years, we've heard of the term Dawah Mafia. Today, we witnessed it in action. Mohammed Torana has been a respected Shaykh, dedicating his life to giving dawah and helping people grow in their faith. Yet when Mohammed Hijab realized he was a liability due to him being a man of truth, Hijab blackmailed him, giving him until midnight to send a message and voice note that could be twisted to make Sister Aisha look like a liar. And when the midnight deadline passed, he began tarnishing the Shaykh's name, reaching out to IERA and different organizations, poisoning Torana's reputation, and ultimately triggering his spiritual, emotional, and physical collapse. Shaykh Torana recounts vomiting from stress, being hospitalized, and not eating for 3 days. This man dedicated his life to dawah, and Hijab treated him like collateral damage. This isn't just moral failure. This is criminal. This is spiritual abuse. This is the dark side of the dawah mafia. And now, collectively, we must call for accountability. Do not let this case become another chapter in the long history of religious cover-ups like those in the Catholic Church. To the community in London, file criminal charges against Mohammed Hijab. This is blackmail and must render legal consequences. To the Islamic Council of Europe, issue a public condemnation. Launch a full investigation. Let your silence not be your complicity. To the Muslim Ummah, protect Shaykh Mohammed Torana by all means necessary. He tried his best to stand for the truth and ended up paying the price. He was coerced, he was blackmailed, he was harmed. His words were used to justify what they deemed as a masterful cover-up. The veil has been lifted, the lies have unraveled, and the truth, it has pierced through the silence. The Dawah Mafia has been exposed. To Mohammed Hijab, you tried to silence the truth. You tried to bury it in threats, fear, and deception. But you forgot one eternal law. The truth takes root in darkness, yet it always rises and emerges into the light. That day is today. And the world now sees you for what you are, a prolific liar, a master of manipulation, a shameless criminal cloaked in piety. But this was no solo crime. Let Adi Dawah also be known to the world as another prolific liar, another agent of deceit, another shameless criminal, not in ignorance, but in complicity. Because when you protect a wolf in the name of Dawah, you become part of the slaughter. In the upcoming days, you may see additional responses trying to induce doubts to the authenticity of everything you just heard. But I will state this with Allah as my witness. I swear by the one in whose hands is my soul. Everything you heard was from Shaykh Mohammed Torana. I believe in his sincerity and I believe him to be a God-fearing man. To Mohammed Hijab, I hope you spend the next few weeks crafting a list of apologies. First and foremost to Sister Aisha, for the significant harm and trauma you caused her. And when she sought help, when she tried to speak up, you did everything in your power to destroy her, to discredit her, and to demonize her. Second, to Sheikh Mohammed Tarana for blackmailing him and launching a smear campaign against him, which led him to being hospitalized, vomiting, and unable to eat for 3 days. Third, to your wife and your children for deceiving them and for causing all of this humiliation to circle back to your home. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect and preserve them, including their honor and their dignity. Lastly, for myself, I do not seek nor do I want an apology from you. Mark my words. Wallahi, I will look for you on the day of judgment and know with full certainty I will find you, because this is the promise of our Lord. For those who have deceived and transgressed, repent, cast your apologies, and seek forgiveness from those you have wronged and harmed. For a day will come when you will be held into full account.
واتقوا يوما ترجعون فيه إلى الله ثم توفى كل نفس ما كسبت وهم لا يظلمون